The Bombers had this game. They absolutely had it in the bag.
They lost this game. The Bombers lost this game.
That coaching call was absolutely ridiculous. Like, O'Shea, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, that was terrible.
All right, welcome back, guys, to another edition of our CFL weekly Power Rankings videos. My name's Cody. This is Don. We're here with the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, and we got an exciting week of CFL action to get into. So, without further ado, Don, why don't we start off with Rough Riders at Alouettes? Two teams, best the East versus best the West, kicking off in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Well, you know what?
Interesting finish.
Pardon me?
Interesting finish to this one.
Well, actually, I watched the game, of course, and it was like two different games. The first half, Saskatchewan couldn't do anything wrong.
Tail of the halves.
And the second half, Montreal couldn't do anything wrong. Basically, it was like all Saskatchewan. I would say that the top player for Saskatchewan was the Frankie Hickson guy. He was taking the place of AJ Ouellette, who was injured.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played a lot, and even though he got a lot in the first half, he ended up with 16 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. That's 7.3 yards a carry.
Yeah, well, he scored the first touchdown of the game.
He did.
Yeah. It was a strong run to him by him as well.
Absolutely, he did, yeah. So let's have a look at what we got here for the highlights, and we'll get to the second half. So, in the first quarter, 3 minutes left, Saskatchewan guy tries a 57-yard field goal, bang, off the crossbar. That one's no good. So then, a little bit later on, this was the Hickson touchdown. Right, a little last play of the first quarter, rumbling and stumbling. He gets that one. I was really impressed by him, actually. I think that they should maybe try and squeeze him in just a little bit more often, because he's quite something. Then,
lighten the load for Ouellette as well, kind of to avoid getting him injuries,
absolutely. Right? So then we get into the second half. Let me just say, I was saying this last week about the Edmonton coach, who again buttered it up this week. Take a quarterback, put him in for the first half. If he stinks, start the other guy in the second half. That's exactly what Jason Moss did. For the first half, he put in Evans, who had a colossal 91 yards. Then they throw in Davis Alexander in the second half. Now, after this game and after a couple other ones, I had him as my player of the week. But this kid, third-string quarterback, completes his first 12 passes. First 12. It was crazy. He ended up going 15 for 18, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. He basically won them the game.
3 touchdowns. Oh, I thought he had...
No,
2 touchdowns, but I thought he had 3 in the last
He had one about 10 minutes into the third... 5 minutes into the third quarter. But it was just how he was driving them down the field. And then a little bit after that, it was about a 35-yarder, and that was. Then they were up. They were up 17-16 at that point. Saskatchewan still had a chance because there's still lots of time left, because they actually shut them down except for a field goal in the fourth quarter. But Saskatchewan, poor guys, the kicker again. So there was 3 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Now he tries a 52-yarder. That one hits the upright and bounces off.
Yeah.
So with the combination of the crossbar and the upright, that was 6 points there. That was the game. You know what?
Well, there was a weird call at the end of that one, too, the illegal participation, that they were marching down the field. Like, there's no saying that they were going to get a touchdown, but at least field goal range like that, they could have.
Yeah, that wouldn't have helped them because they were done by 4.
Oh, that's right. They needed the
Yeah,
touchdown. That's what I was thinking. Like, it wasn't a guarantee, but it did because they were marching down the field with that drive.
See, this is an example of the last video where I was talking about the CFL officiating, because I was watching this play. The Saskatchewan guy stepped half a foot out of bounds before the ball was passed to him, and you could see on the TV screen he's standing there waiting for the ball, and the ref's just looking at his feet. And the second he caught the ball, flag goes up. That's it.
Because he stepped out, he can't step out of bounds. Yeah, interesting. Interesting finish. That there was a couple of weird, wonky finishes.
There's always something weird
to
wonky in
these
CFL.
CFL games. Two out of four, but yeah, great game by Davis Alexander. And you would call him our OBSP Player of the Week?
Nope.
No.
I had him as that.
Oh, he did have him. All right, well, stay tuned for our OSP Player of the Week. Anything else notable from that game?
No, I was very impressed by Davis, very impressed by Hickson, and finally, someone who knows how to coach. Because we're going to talk about other guys who didn't know how to coach this week either.
Yeah. So that puts Saskatchewan 5-2, and Montreal 6-1.
Yes.
So there's a clear favorite at the top of the league. Montreal is able to snag another win with Fajardo on the sidelines, which it's good for him because the more they win, the longer he can kind of sit out, rest up, get healthy. They're not forced to bring him back, and they're sitting good right now in the CFL, right? So
he was also taken off the 6-week IR list too.
So he'll be back sooner than later.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I mean, good call by the coach, like you said. Davis Alexander did come in. He kind of reminded me of when Purdy stepped in a couple of years ago for San Francisco 49ers, the way he came in there as a third-string quarterback. No one had any hope for him and started shooting some
What play does he want?
slingers.
What play does he want?
Who?
Purdy.
Well, he's made it to the Super Bowl.
Talk to me when he wins something. He hasn't won
He's made it to the
anything.
Super Bowl.
Who hasn't?
Has Davis Alexander made it to the Super
Who
Bowl?
hasn't made it to the Super Bowl?
Has Dak Prescott made it to
Are
the
we
Super
talking
Bowl?
NFL right now or CFL? You're gonna have all next month to talk about your NFL.
Well, I'm just comparing the two leagues because they're on the same level, you know.
You're full of shit. Anyways,
All right, so moving on to our game 2 of the week. Calgary visiting Ottawa. Calgary's yet to win on the road. Their 3 wins all came at home at McMahon Stadium. Red Blacks yet to lose at home. They're now 4-0, sitting at 5-2. So that's good enough for second in the East, behind only the Alouettes. They're 1 game back of first place. And they absolutely destroyed the Calgary Stampeders in a game that we were both wrong on.
Well,
we thought
you know
Calgary
what?
was hot after beating BC, and the Ottawa Red Blacks, they looked good. Pimpleton, man, that Pimpleton kid, he's going to be an exciting player to watch the rest of the
I have
season.
some
He's
highlights for him.
3 games in, and the highlights that we've already thrown up
settle
for him,
yourself down.
I can't wait. Let's get into it.
So, all right, we'll start off with the first Ottawa touchdown. Halfway through the first quarter, 15, 20-yard pass. But he's wide open. And we have it in slow motion here, too, and you can see the Calgary guy's jumping, just misses the ball, and in it goes. So, and at that point, that was the beginning of the end. Now, what happened later on, which was hilarious. I haven't seen this in the longest time. So Calgary's got the ball, and they're punting from their own 50. And they boot it to Pimpleton. And he's just sitting there letting the ball slow down. He picks up the ball just before he sees the Calgary kicker screaming down the field.
Yeah, what was going on with that? What was he waiting for? I was confused about it.
But he was screaming down the field. If you would have picked it up, it would have been Calgary ball. Because only the kicker can pick up the ball.
That's what the rule was. But I don't understand what Pimpleton... He was just waiting for the play to be dead.
Maybe I think he's hoping to go in the end zone.
Oh... Yeah, because I saw that. I was watching. I was like, what is going on right now?
He was hoping.
And the kick, yeah. That could have been dangerous for real. That, like, the way he went
flying in there.
Yeah, he flew right in there.
Yeah, so that could have changed the game, but it didn't. So then we get to 5 minutes left in the first quarter. And wait a minute, is this the right one? That's the wrong one. Then we get to Calgary's kicking off in the beginning of the third quarter. And Pimpleton grabs it at his 20. And it looked like he was going to break this one. Pretty close. He gets it up to past the Calgary 50.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, I'm thinking, he gets another one of those, I think he's going to take it to the house. And shortly after
He's
that,
starting to look like Janarian Grant with those punt returns, the way he zips up the field.
And then 5 minutes later, does it again. This time he gets it at the 10, and he just goes along the sideline. There was two times that he could have probably been caught, but
well, the blocking in that was sensational.
Yeah.
Like the blocking by his teammates to give him the pathway through, like that. Yeah, and the little jump, like the little skip over the one guy when he falls, and kind of loses his balance, but then gets back up. He's a small guy, so his center of gravity's he's got that great balance.
He's got good
and then
speed,
once he turns the jets on, there's no catching this guy.
So that was basically the highlights for that game.
Well, do you see that the Drew Brown threw like a beautiful fade pass? It was kind of I think it was at the end of the second half.
Oh yeah, those
right
nice.
into the first half, and he just like a gentle toss over
pass.
the field. Oh yeah, like when the Red Blacks receivers are hot, like they look good. Like they have a really great receiving core when the quarterback and receivers are playing intuitively together. Like it's exciting to watch. Like 2 weeks ago when they all had the three of them had the over 100-yard game, like that offense is something to look out for, I think, in the CFL. Like, I mean, we both look at Ottawa as kind of like a mid-level team, but I mean, they've got some really great weapons on offense and some speed on kick returns, and their defense held Calgary to 6 points. Like, there's something there maybe with the Ottawa. Maybe we might have to start.
I still got to see a couple more.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
so I could have easily picked Brown for the player of the game. He went 30 for 37, 325 yards, and 1 touchdown, but I didn't. I picked Khalil Pimpleton. He's 7 receptions for 80 yards. He returned 1 kickoff for 47. That was that one where he got caught. And 8 punt returns for 162 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I like
definitely got to put him as your player to play the game.
He just stood out for me in that game. So I thought, you know what, he's got to be the guy. All right.
Notable Rene Paredes, the kicker, is 19 for 19 on the season. I love following the CFL kickers, see how they're doing.
Well, he can't be too happy with the Bombers kicker.
He was the only one to get points on the board for the Calgary Stampeders. And the other thing I want to say was Red Blacks start the season 4-0 for the first time in 46 years. 4-0 at home.
Yeah.
4-0 at home. So...
Okay, so...
Yeah, 19 to watch. 33-6 was the final for that game.
Next, we will get to the Bombers-Argo game.
Such a beautiful summer Saturday night in Toronto. We were there. We repped the shirts, repped the logos, out of bounds, just at the game. And you know what? Not the most exciting game. It did have some wonky back and forths at the end of the game, some interesting calls, which we'll get into, but the atmosphere in Toronto was exciting. And it was cool because where we were in the stands was right where the players ran out. And they had this huge cannon, so every time Toronto would score, then we didn't notice at the beginning. It was like, pop, pop. But like when they got the field goal at the end, it was like, pop. And the fireworks at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Like they put a whole show on. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
they put a show on too.
Yeah, it looked great.
Fantastic.
So Daisy Duke started the game for Toronto, but it didn't last long.
He didn't even, again, playing for the half, put a guy in the second half.
They played for the quarter.
I know.
They switched Harbaugh in the second quarter.
If you're going to start him, that's my rule. You're going to start him, put him in for the half.
Yeah.
Okay? Otherwise, if you put him in for a quarter, this other guy gets hurt. Well, good luck playing this other guy again next week because his confidence is shot. Anyways,
But he came in later in the game too. Like there was when Toronto needed they needed a first down.
He
tried to do
he is their short yardage guy.
Yeah. And he couldn't get it. He couldn't get the first down.
You need a yard, and the guy's going east-west.
Yeah, he tried to go around the pile, but they had that covered all the way.
Anyways, so the first highlight we have is actually in the fourth quarter, 3 minutes into it. Argos pick off the ball, little bouncing ball, and into the end zone. And right about the time he got into the end zone, that's when that cannon went off again.
Yeah, we were not expecting it. Well, you mentioned first highlight for this game.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. So it was 6-6 at halftime, 6-6 going into the fourth.
Yep.
So there was not much action.
Well, there was no offense at all by the Argonauts. No offense.
No, yeah, Bombers had the better shots, but they kept turning over the ball. Like Oliveira.
4 turnovers.
Yeah, 3 fumbles. Like it was tough to watch as a Bombers fan at that game.
So then, with 4 minutes left in the game, Claris throws one up, and even though the guy bobbles the ball, grabs it before it hits the end zone. Now we got us a tie game. Now this is where I don't know what the Bombers coach was thinking. Because it's tied up 13-all. The Bombers are marching down the field.
Neither team has been able to get anything going, so why not seal the chance of your defense left shutting down the Argonauts?
There's a minute left in the game. I'm doing the highlights.
You can have the highlight in a minute.
So there's 1 minute left in the game. They're at the Argo 22. 3rd and 1. You'd think, well, let's just kick the field goal and wrap the game up. Nah. They try to get the first down and get stopped. The fans are going crazy, stomping their feet. I was hoping for a cannon then. I was all set for that one. And the Argos get the ball back. Now, they didn't have enough time to get anything before the end of the game. That's why they should have gone for the field goal. So then we go into overtime. And what's the name of the Bombers kicker again?
Sergio Castillo.
Castillo's okay. He had missed one earlier. Now we're into overtime, and he's got a 35-yarder. And it's up, and it's barely wide, but it's wide. So out of that, they get a rouge. So now
they're up by 1.
They're up by 1.
Toronto gets another. Now Toronto
and
gets
the coach just looks beside himself now. So then now it's our Argos' turn. They were just trying to gain a couple of yards.
Yeah, they're trying to not lose the ball pretty much.
And then, again, 35-yarder right down the middle.
Worst comes to worst, they missed the field goal. I guess. More. Yeah.
But anyways, so then that was the game. The Bombers had this game. They absolutely had it in the bag.
They lost this game. The Bombers lost this game.
That coaching call was absolutely ridiculous. Like, O'Shea, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, that was terrible. But the Argos won, so I was happy.
Yeah, Argos back over 500. They're now 4-3. The Bombers fall to 2-6 on the season. With, I think, they got one more game before their bye week, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, isn't that the week that Kelly's supposed to come back? So he comes back on a bye week? Good for him after having 9 weeks off.
No, Kelly plays for the Argonauts.
What are you talking about?
Winnipeg. Winnipeg hasn't had their off week. They've played every game so far.
I wasn't even listening to you.
Winnipeg's off next week. Next week. So 2-6. They're going to want to hope to get a win next week against the tough West Coast opponent and the BC Lions. But
I'm trying to find a player of the game, and
you got to give it to the Toronto kicker. It's the only one you can give it to.
It's the only one I can give it to is the Argos kicker. He kicks. I don't even know how to pronounce Buddy's name.
Yeah, Liram Harjulahu.
Yeah, so he was 3 for 3. And his longest was 48, and he ended up getting 10 points in the game. And it's a sad state when a field goal kicker who scores 10 points is the player of the game.
He won the game for them. Yeah,
He did.
so Again, we were at that one. It was a lot of fun.
I would definitely go back again.
Definitely check out. Yeah.
The atmosphere is way better than I thought it was going to be. All right.
And the stadium pretty much filled up from where we were, right? It was at one point there was.
Well, okay. With the area that they have, because they don't open up the upper area on
Above us, yeah, on the west
so
side.
I think it holds around
East side.
23. There had to be about 18,000 there.
Yeah.
It was pretty full.
Yeah.
So
I guess you can pull that up and check it out. But all right, final game of the week, Sunday Night Football. We had the Hamilton Tiger Cats visiting the Edmonton Elks. What's that stadium called? The Edmonton Stadium?
Commonwealth.
So this was basically bottom of the barrel. You got bottom of the East versus bottom of the West. Hamilton got their first win last week against the Toronto Argonauts. Edmonton's yet to find a win. Second game for their head coach. And what do? Well, not
You know
much.
what? You know what?
The score does not reflect the dominance of the game. Like, they scored... The only positive for the Edmonton Elks in this game is once they brought in Trey Ford. I mean, I know all three of his... This is what I thought I mixed up this guy and the guy from Montreal. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I mean, they're all in garbage time, so it's really hard to tell how well, but he did come in and he looked good.
Yeah.
Like when they finally took McLeod Bethel Thompson out, like, they looked like a different team.
Again,
waited too long.
they put him in with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And yes, all the points scored were during garbage time. And you could see that Hamilton was playing zone. So they were giving him the 15-yard passes. Oh, yeah, you can have those, right? He did okay, but I don't know for sure, but I would suspect that at that point Hamilton pulled out some of their starters too.
Well, I'd imagine, 41. At one point, it was 41-8 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
41-8. So they benched Bethel Thompson. Ford comes in the game, leads a touchdown drive. Go ahead.
I was about to say, while talking about this, I have a clip with all 5 touchdown passes by Bo Levi. First time in his career, he's thrown 5 in a game, and I just have them on the same back to back.
So Bo, 17 of 25 in this game, 316 yards, 5 touchdowns. Did he throw an interception?
One
interception. So yeah, they dominated that game. The Ticats did, and like the Edmonton fans were booing them at the end of the third quarter. Like, they were booing them out of the building. What was it? Was it Bo's first touchdown to Robinson? Yeah, the big tight end. Just cool, calm, collected. Like, I don't know. I don't want to jump into too many conclusions. He might be finding his rhythm here with the Ticats offense.
It's hard to say because he played Edmonton.
Yeah, well, he looked good against the Ticats or the Argonauts last week too. I mean, the Argonauts aren't playing really great either, but that's 2 wins in 2 weeks, and like you said, 5 touchdowns for this guy. So, it's throwing bombs all game. Edmonton had nothing. They finally had to take Bethel out of the game. But, did you see the one play? You got to include this one if you want. But Trey Ford, when he broke away. Yeah. Broke away, ran, threw it. It was a good catch.
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
I've already made my highlights. So, and also Hamilton again in this game blocked another punt.
Yep. Special teams was great as well,
which was impressive. So I would have to say the player of the game this week is got to be Bo Levi Mitchell. No.
Player of the week or player of the game?
Player of the game.
Yeah. What kind of question is that?
I'm just asking you. I don't know if you want to stick in your buddy Ford now that you want highlights of this.
Well, I just want to see. I just want the people to see the play because it was a cool play in the fourth quarter.
Well, then,
and it was impressive.
Make it up and send it to me.
All right, I will send it to you. Bo Levi's got to be the player of the game. There's no other option. Trey Ford did look like I'm excited. What I am excited to see next week is who they're going to start.
They're going to start Ford.
Because they're playing in Saskatchewan.
They're starting Ford.
So
for sure.
they have to, right? They at this point they're getting desperate. They were 0-7.
Okay.
At what point does the season become a wash? Like, I mean, we're almost halfway through the season. You have yet to win a game.
I believe.
So you might as well.
I believe if you do the math, before the first game of the season, Edmonton is already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Wait, what? Beginning of the season?
Yeah, they're already mathematically.
Oh, just because they suck?
They're that bad. Okay,
You were saying that about the Ticats last week.
They've had 2 games, but you know what? They still got a ways to go.
Yeah. Not as much as Edmonton, but yeah.
But to show I'm impartial. Starting this week, we've decided I'm going to pick a player of the week.
Yeah, our OOBSP player of the week.
And the player of the week is Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, absolutely. Good
17 for 25, 316, and 5 touchdowns. No one even close.
Yeah. Yeah, had a stellar week. Ticats
and
win.
you know I don't like Hamilton.
Yeah. But you know, yeah, you can recognize.
I had to pick him because
greatness.
He was the best.
He was, yeah. I mean, who would have been the one that would have challenged him would have been Montreal's quarterback.
He was.
And that was more of a story. Like he didn't have a great. Like I mean, he did have a good second half. He did have a great second half. Yeah.
You have to. Well, you understand. He was cold off the bench, and he's hardly played.
I think he's only played one other, like had a couple snaps in the whole season. So
yeah, and I think that if Fajita's not back in next week, they're starting this guy.
Yeah.
They're starting Alexander
for sure.
All right, we should go over the results, make our picks, and get to the thing.
All right, so let's get up here.
Looks sweet, eh?
Yeah, I like the graphic. Let us know in the comments who you guys think of the player of the week. Do you agree with Don's player of the week, or do you think it was someone else? Do you think it was Davis Alexander? Do you think it was the Toronto Argonauts kicker? Do you think that it was Ontario Wilson with that crazy catch from the Blue Bombers? Let us know in the comments who's your player of the week.
One catch doesn't make you player of the week. And he had it in his hands and almost dropped it, so it was kind of his fault.
All right, what do we got here?
What do we got? First of all, we'll talk about the last week's results. Cody won his second week. He went 3-1. I went 2-2 again. It's my third week at 2-2.
Third week in 2-2. You won with 2-2 last week. 2-2 in a row. Oh yeah, 3 weeks in a row. So I ended my back-to-back 1-3 streak with a beautiful 3-1. Should have went with my gut and picked the Red Blacks, but
you know what? Even I said before I made my pick, I said Calgary's 3-3,
and they
all 3 losses were on the road.
Yeah. So we both got that one wrong, and then we obviously split on the Alouettes and the Rough Riders last week. So, which I mean, that game could have won either way. The Rough Riders definitely could have won that game. So, 3-1, 2-2. Moving on to week 9, we got the BC Lions visiting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with our Thursday night football. It is Thursday night, right?
It's 8:30 though. It's 8:30 start.
Oh, 7:30 in Winnipeg. Yeah. So. Who do you got this week? Who do you got this game, Don?
Well, after seeing what the Bombers did last week, I'm going BC.
I know, yeah, you gotta go BC. They're coming off the bye week as well, so they'll be looking well rested, and they'll be looking to take advantage of the depleted Blue Bombers. I mean, after a loss like that, like it's not even like they lost a close one. You can be like, all right, guys, we really. You know, we can keep our heads up high. Like they blew that game. Bad coaching, bad kicking, bad play calling, just bad all around. So I mean, and that's been the story of their season. A team that went to 4 straight Grey Cups, and now they're sitting at 2-6 with not much going on. We'll see what happens.
And I am the guy who always says, well, it's not always a problem with the coach. But he's been there for 10 seasons, and they're not listening to him anymore.
No, yeah, so...
He's got to go.
And Claros is looking stale as well. All right, Alouettes at the Tiger Cats. Hey, I was doing some research. I'm off on Friday. Let's go to this game. $8 tickets.
On Friday?
Yeah.
I got to make another video. We'll see.
Yeah. Montreal is visiting the Tiger Cats. like we said earlier, Ticats coming off of 2 back-to-back wins, while the Alouettes are coming off 1-1. This is going to be an interesting game to pick. I mean, obviously the Ticats have played Toronto and Edmonton the last 2 weeks, so that 2-0 record is not super impressive. But Bo Levi is looking like he's made some strides in that offense, and 5 touchdown passes. And the Alouettes have their backup quarterback, and they're maybe their third string quarterback. So
I wouldn't be afraid to have that guy in.
I'm gonna make my pick, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna go with my heart. And I'm gonna go Tiger Cats.
Alouettes. Easy pick for me. The thing that I forgot to say is when I was watching the Alouette Saskatchewan game, when this kid came in, like the Alouettes were getting murdered the first half. When this kid came in and scored that 1 touchdown quickly, you could actually see the team getting lifted up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of a sudden, their defense was just on fire.
They were playing at home though as well. It's always easier to play at home when you're a young new quarterback. Going on the road against some Ticats fans, I think that stadium will be a lot of fun. I think there's gonna be a lot of fans there, and it's gonna be a whole different atmosphere for them. So, yeah. All right, Don. Who you got? Elks at the Rough Riders. So Edmonton Elks, the lowly Edmonton Elks.
Okay, that's going to be a tough pick for me. Yeah, you know who I want. I'm picking Saskatchewan. Just the Elks haven't. I thought they were not an 0-5 team to start. They're definitely an 0-8 team now.
Yeah, and they're going against the best team in the West right now in the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. At home at Mosaic Saturday night. Yeah, I don't think the Elks have a chance in that game. And then we got the Argos visiting the Stampeders. So Stamps are back at home after losing to Ottawa last week. They had a big win 2 weeks ago against BC, like we've highlighted before. And the Argonauts looked really shaky against the weak Blue Bombers team on Saturday Night Football. So, I mean, this for me is the toughest game to pick. And honestly, I mean, the only thing that's gonna help me with this one is, like we mentioned earlier, the Stamps are 3-0 at home, and I mean, I do like Jake Mayer, I do like Philpott, and I do like can't remember the other guy's name. Maybe I don't like him that much, but I do like the Stampeders offense when they're at home, so I'm gonna go with Stampeders on this one.
Yeah, this one for me was easy. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last week with Calgary when they couldn't win on the road and I picked them and they lost. They can't lose at home. I'm going Stampeders.
On Stampeders as well. All right, so another week where there's only one split, and that's the Tiger Cats at home against the Alouettes. So it should be an interesting one. We'll know by Saturday Night Football, or no, by Friday night, who's going to win this one. So.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking to go 4-0. I think my picks are looking strong, so expect a 4-0 next video, guys. I'll be expecting my flowers, so Don, you better have some flowers. Man, I like sunflowers, by the way. All right.
I don't give a shit what kind of flowers you like.
All right, so
gay up a podcast.
Shall we move on to our weekly power rankings?
I think we shall.
All right, week 9 power ranking. All right, so not much movement here with our weekly power rankings for week 9 after a busy week last week with pretty much virtually everyone moving except for the Alouettes. We both kept our top 3 the same. Montreal, Saskatchewan, and BC sitting up top. We got the best of the East, best of the West, and then the BC was off last week. So with the rest of the team's performance, I didn't feel justified to move them at all. I thought they were safe to stay in that 3rd spot. I don't think anyone else besides Saskatchewan Alouettes does look better than them. Then we both got Argonauts in 4th. You moved them up. You moved them up 1. Red Blacks in 5th, and Stampeders in 6th. So Stamps.
Down 2.
You dropped them down 2, yeah, with a horrible outing against Ottawa last week.
It was shameful. They should be ashamed of themselves playing like that.
If it wasn't for the lowly Bombers, Ticats, and Elks, they could be even lower on this list. But you kept the Bombers at 3rd last, with the Tiger Cats sitting just above the Elks. And I actually moved the Tiger Cats up 1, sorry. So I got Tiger Cats ahead of the Bombers. I just think the Bombers. The Tiger Cats have the same record now as the Bombers, but they're on an upswing, whereas the Bombers are just on a downswing. So Bombers are gonna be hoping and praying to get to their bye week 3-6, but I don't know. I don't have much hope for that. And we both got the Elks, who are 0-8, rightfully so, sitting at the bottom of the barrel, and I don't see much hope for them to be moving anywhere anytime soon.
Not until they get rid of it. You know what? I'm saying after 2 weeks, get rid of that coach.
No.
He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
No.
He was even worse this week than he was his first week.
Yeah, but you got it. Get your new quarterback. If next week, if they start this next quarterback and they get blown out again, then I'll talk about switching up the quarterback. But until then, like, we gotta give him one more week, one more chance with a new quarterback.
If I'm the owner, that guy's gone already.
McLeod Bethune Thompson's played 8 games, 7.5 games, absolutely horrifically. Like, it's a quarterback issue at this point.
What do you mean?
Not horrifically, because they've been close in the first.
He's been close in the first 5 games.
But still,
check your stats. No. You know what? He's got to go.
Let's see. What are his stats for the year?
If I'm the owner, that guy would have been unemployed Monday morning.
Yo, okay. You know what also was interesting? That touchdown pass in the Bombers game was Zach Claris his only second touchdown of the year.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. You can get rid of him. Get rid of that coach.
After what they did at the Argo game? I'm surprised he still has a job.
All right, guys. So there you have it. There's our Week 9 power rankings. Like we said, not much movement, but the middle bottom of the pack, that middle third, got some action there. So stay tuned for next week. Who's off next week? We've got the Red Blacks, right?
Yeah, Ottawa's not playing this week.
So we got the Red Blacks off this week, and the rest of the 8 teams will be in action. Like we said, we'll recap quickly. BC's playing at Winnipeg. We got Montreal at Hamilton. We might be at that game. Edmonton at Saskatchewan. And then Toronto at Calgary will finish off the week at McMahon Stadium. So there's another CFL week in the books for you guys. Thanks again for watching. If we missed anything, any highlights that you thought we should have touched on, make sure you let us know in the comments below. Smash that like button and hit the subscribe. Coming at you every week until the Grey Cup with some CFL action, recaps, and previews, as well as you can see our power rankings. Middle of the season is next week. 10
Typically,
11, couple weeks.
21 weeks.
20 weeks. So next 2 weeks, we'll be doing a special episode where we'll be recapping our players this season so far, our top maybe 3 in the MVP standings. We'll each pick our own 3, and then we'll compare them. So that'll be either next week or maybe we'll wait till week 11. So stay tuned. Our weekly podcast came out yesterday. We'll leave a link for that. Make sure you check that one out. We'll be doing a SummerSlam preview later in the week as well. That's this Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio. So stay tuned for that as well. And then we'll be back next week to recap some more CFL action. So thanks again. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the CFL action. And we'll see you again next week.
Ciao.